Hello everyone, welcome back to the Tundra. My name is Gumball, and welcome to BTD6. I played this game a decent bit, but I've never actually recorded a video on it. So today we're going to be tackling probably the hardest map in the game, Bloody Puddles, and we're going to be doing it on chimps. And for this run, I decided I want to go with like a Permabrew strategy. So Permabrew is, it's a very expensive tower, so I'm bringing Etienne, just because he has some very powerful abilities. A lot of times when you bring Etienne on chimps, it's mostly because he has the universal camo detection that he buffs to other towers, but, our main save-up tower is going to be Dark Knight, which already has built-in camo detection, so we're not really going to be using Etienne for that, mostly just his abilities. We're doing the standard double Desperado, double Dart start into 4 snipers to beat round 15. And this will just allow you to save into practically any hero. I'm going to be getting Etienne right at round 17 here. Another common strategy is just getting Psy because of his universal, range, right? Anyway, so yeah, we're just going to drop Etienne on those rocks between the second and third tracks. Just because there is this little place where you can put him, and, later on in the game, he'll be buffing pretty much all of your towers with range. That is one of the nice things about Etienne, is that any towers within his range do get extra range. But anyway, for the early game here, we're just going to go for 2 different triple shots, just because, they do defend pretty well. We are just going to, on 23 there, we're just going to Drone Swarm immediately, just because we do die if we don't. There are a couple other rounds where you need to use Drone Swarm pretty much immediately. The other ones off the top of my head are like 27 and 31. So yeah, we're Drone Swarm again on 27. We did get a Full Metal Jacket Sniper just to deal with the leads on 28 and 30. And then right after this, before the next wave of camos, we're just going to get a Bouncing Bullet. This is going to defend all of the camos up until Etienne does give the universal camo detection. Even though I said before it wasn't really necessary, the Bouncing Bullet is going to help defend this early game pretty well. It's just a really solid early game tower in general. I know that it's very common on Bloody Puddles to go for like a sub early, but, with this whole strategy, I didn't really want to go for the same thing as everyone else. This wasn't a black border run. I already had my black border on Bloody Puddles, so I just wanted to go for something a little bit different. And we're just going to get even faster firing on the Bouncing Bullet as well as the Full Metal Jacket for 37, and then just for extra protection against these leads on 37, I am going to get an AM debuff on the Bouncing Bullet. It also helps do extra damage to the ceramics over the next few rounds until we can save up into our Dark Knight, but 37 was giving me a lot of trouble without spending that much money. And then coming up here on round 40, I'm just going to get a 3-1-0 Mermonkey, an Abyss Dweller, just because it does a really good job at killing these ceramics. In general, the top path Mermonkey's really good at killing ceramics. And, popping open the Moab is not the hard part, it's dealing with the insides, right? That's another reason why a lot of people bring Psy, is because Psy just absolutely blasts the ceramics once the Moab is popped. But Psy also can't really pop the Moab at all, so I don't know. It seems like a decent trade-off. Anyway, I'm going to stick a Discount Village on those rocks there too, just because there's barely enough room for it. And then I'm going to get a Super Monkey with Epic Range. This is going to end up being our first Dark Knight. And the money was only there to get 1 discount on that Epic Range, because I needed it on round 47. But anyway, after we get the double discount up, we're going to end up getting 2 different Morglays on round 49. We can only afford 1, but the other one we can upgrade mid-round. It's really close, but this is just going to help against ceramics in general. The Dark Knight is not bad against ceramics, but it's really bad at group damage. And a lot of the times, our Dark Knight is going to be popping the Moabs, right? So the double Morglaves is just going to do a really good job at saving up, or helping to save up. Anyway, on round 55, we can afford our first Dark Knight. And then I'm just going to save straight into the second one. And then once I have the second one, I'm going to warp it across the screen to that left side. That way there's a Dark Knight on both sides. And after this, we're going to end up getting a Alk buff for the right Dark Knight. We can move the one on the left to get in range of the Abyss Dweller. And since there is, quite a bit of damage coming from the Dark Knight, that's going to do a decent amount of damage. Enough to where we don't need to buy a second Alk. And the Alk that we are buying for it is just going to turn into our Permabrew later on. And, you know, 2 Dark Knights with a Permabrew is not going to be Bloody Puddles. So the question is, what is the main tower we're actually going to be using in the late game? And the answer to that is actually going to be, we're going to be using Super Monkey Fan Club, you know? Or as some people like to call it, Super Funky Man Club, because it is a funky tower. For only like 7-something thousand, you get a lot of burst popping power. And especially pair that with Permabrew, because I don't know if you know this about the Super Funky Man Club, but all of the darts that it turns into Super Monkeys are not just regular Super Monkeys, they're buffed Super Monkeys. They're Super Monkeys squared. So they're a lot more powerful than normal Super Monkeys, and like the quick shot buffs and pretty much all the other buffs that those dart monkeys get carried over. So, you know, if you have a bunch of Permabrew Dark Monkeys turn into Super Monkey Fan Club Super Monkeys, they're just going to be able to destroy pretty much everything in their 90s, which is going to be about when we get it. I did initially try to make the Super Monkey Fan Club save up, but I ended up just not being able to get there, because 2 Dark Knights is about the same price as a Super Monkey Fan Club, plus, you know, all the darts that you need for it. And that just wasn't really worth it, because, you know, you would have downtime on the ability, and the Dark Knight, it can warp across the screen, and once it's in range of, like, Etienne in the village, it has even more range. And because I, you know, had to defend against purples, I did have to go the 023 instead of the 203. But anyway, on round 84 here, we can buy our Permabrew, and then it's going to start buffing everything. I am going to end up warping this Dark Knight into range of the Permabrew. I just can't do it immediately. But round 85, we are just we're gonna use a UCAV towards the end of this round here. And then, you know, warp the Dark Knight within range of the Permabrew. So now the Permabrew is buffing pretty much everything right now, except for Etienne and our leftmost Dark Monkey. And here on these late 80 rounds, this is when I'm going to start building into my Dart Monkey army. Because pretty much everything that needs to be buffed by Permabrew is being buffed by Permabrew. Now, whenever I did this run, I didn't actually know that Permabrew didn't buff Etienne. I totally thought it did. And it is, you know, Etienne is not within range of the Permabrew right now. But it will be here in a second, because I ended up buying a Deadeye here before too long. Because I was really confused on why it wasn't buffing Etienne, but I guess there's just mechanics I don't know about. It's not like that matters anyway. Anyway, we buy 8 Dart Monkeys. I'm going to buy a couple more here just because I do want 10 Permabrewed Dart Monkeys to be the ones getting transformed, not, you know, the one on the left. That's not really doing much. I do take a random loss to 89 there just because I just kind of get lazy and don't upgrade to my Super Monkey Fan Club. And then I can just use it to blow up the rest of 89. And then after that, you know, we get level 20 Etienne. So Perma UCAV, pretty broken. We'll have absolutely no problems with DDTs. And once I can afford a second Monkey Fan Club, I do end up buying it. That is what that triple shot is there, beside the primary village. I wanted to, you know, sort of designate it as the next fan club. That way I didn't upgrade all of them to triple shot and then get confused. All of these Dart Monkeys, by the way, are going to be 032s. Even though Etienne already gives them camo detection, I actually buy it just for the range upgrade. And, you know, once they're buffed with Permabrew, you don't need the Pierce. The Pierce doesn't really matter for them at all. So, just having more range is going to make them a little bit better. And this is when I get my second fan club here, and when I upgrade the rest of my Dart army. But, you know, I really enjoy playing Bloons. Like I said, I've been playing it for a long time. Obviously, like, my level was maxed out to the point where I started getting, like, the seniority levels or whatever it's called. And, you know, I have all these expert maps left bordered. So, clearly I like the game. I just never even thought about making videos on it. And I also haven't uploaded, like, an actual video in almost 2 years now, just because a lot of stuff has been happening. I've been busy with a lot of other things. A lot of changes have happened in my life. But, you know, I've been thinking about making videos again. Well, Not thinking. I've been recording videos. I actually have a decent backlog of videos that I've been meaning to upload, but just haven't. But on 95, yeah, we're just gonna fan club again. Pretty much destroy the round. No problems at all. I mean, really, once you save up into the Permabrew, like, the game is pretty much free. And, like, the save up is the hardest part, but Dark Knights are just really strong. So even though this is an incredibly hard map, I didn't have any issues with it. And, you know, like, once these are Permabrewed, like, you don't even need to use fan club a decent amount of the time. Because the darts themselves are just so powerful. They're attacking way faster, they do way more damage, and they shoot 3 projectiles, which is, you know, anytime you have bust or debust on a tower, the best towers that those are for towers that just, you know, shoot a lot of projectiles but do low damage. Those are the towers that statistically get the most benefit out of buffs, right? Anyway, on 97, I do UCAV at the end there. 98, we just use 2 different fan clubs. I actually don't need the second one, and I wish I didn't use it, because on 99, I end up having to buy a glue, just because I didn't save a fan club when I should have, and, you know, the cash spare could have been a little bit higher than it was, but I do end up buying an 014 glue here. The regular Moab glue doesn't do the job. I do need the stun from Relentless just to get enough time back to kill these DDTs, you know. And the Dark Knights combined with just the super buffed triple shots, like, I don't even need the fan club. It's just the stun that I need. If I did have a fan club, I wouldn't have needed the glue. So if I just timed my abilities better, I wouldn't have needed them. But round 100, I just wait until the Super Monkey fan club comes online, and it just pretty much eviscerates the bad. But anyway, let me know if you have any other suggestions or want me to make more Bloons videos. Bye.